Hey, you're here. All right, so I've made some changes in my studio space, so let's go inside and I'll show you what I've done. Let's go. Okay, so first off, not a huge space, and before I kind of had it where the energy was blocked off, I put the tables surrounding the walls to kind of give it a bigger feel, especially for this space. And I added some mirrors in. This is my baby. This is my workhorse, my Conso. I think it's about the same age as me. And it's sturdier than any other machine. Well, it's industrial, of course. So it holds up. Over here, I had an old rack for hanging up jackets. And I didn't want to get rid of it. I thought maybe I could use it. And fortunately for me, my thread fits on there perfectly. So if you're interested in reusing, find something, see if you can give it another life in this space. It works for my thread and I love it. It's a really fun visual for me. I am really obsessed with not having a lot of waste. I have gone to different yard sales, different estate sales, and there's like so much fabric and it's just like a hoarder's nightmare. So I thought this time around it would be good to really see the fabrics that I have. And so I have all of my fabrics, or a big chunk of my fabrics, out here in the open so I can see what's available. And it's really helpful. It cuts down on waste. I've got some interfacing here. I've got some unwashed fabrics here, and I know what I have, and then again it cuts down on waste. So I'm really happy just to see what I have before I even consider going and getting something else. This is just a fraction of my patterns, and again I thought I would put them out because I have really cool patterns, but I don't really pay attention to them, right? Because they're just kind of like hidden away. So I really wanted to decrease the lack of use and really bring these patterns out. I do a lot of pattern drafting myself, but if there's something that inspires me, or there's a pattern that's already made, I can just go ahead and use it and alter it. I don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's already there for me. This is my favorite book. You can zoom in on that. The Party Dress, Mary Adams. I love dresses. I still see myself as this kind of tomboy, right? Typically, okay, so you caught me in overalls today, but typically I'm wearing a dress. I just couldn't find anything I wanted, so I threw these on. So TMI, but usually if I'm wearing pants, either I'm on my cycle, which is not the case now, but I very rarely wear pants anymore, but I'm wearing overalls today, and that's just what it is. This, in case you're wondering, is a blind hem foot. I very rarely use it, but I have it here in case I want to. And then I just have my supplies all set up. This little can, you know, the cookies. I ate the cookies, the Danish cookies, and instead I put my pins in here. Pins are very essential when I'm doing some of my quilting. It helps combine the 3 layers, and so I have everything just neatly put in here. I was big into ceramics several years ago, and I had some different cups that I made, and I thought, why don't I use them instead of letting them collect dust? So a few of these here are a few of the pieces I made, and I thought, okay, so if I have to change out the foot for sewing, just have it there readily accessible, and scissors, needles, whatever. When my grandma died, it was kind of like a free-for-all. People were getting stuff, and I thought, I want to get something that's practical, and she sewed And so this was kind of a way to remind myself of her. So this is her little pin cushion that she would use for her needles when she would sew. She sewed a lot. Over here I've got some tailor's chalk, which I use. Oh, I found some extra thread there. But I got some tailor's chalk, and I use this when I'm getting ready to make a hem, sew a hem, just kind of have a little marker for me, and when I iron it, it will go away. And I prefer white as opposed to the blue, because the blue, it will stay on there even after you iron it away, and it's a freaking nightmare. Oh, so I highly recommend the white tailor's chalk. Don't do blue unless you want to just like stress yourself out. Over here I've got my scissors. I hope you guys know that there's different types of scissors, right? The ones that you use for fabric and the ones you use for other things. I've had to sharpen these several times. My daughter wanted to cut paper with this, and that's a no-no. It's very stressful. Please don't do that. So I have my scissors here, but I've kind of gone to, when it comes to cutting out things, I'll use my rotary cutter, or I have this one I'll show you over there in a little bit. It's a really fancy blade for multiple layers for cutting, and it makes the process so much simpler. I very rarely use scissors for cutting out fabric. Over here I've got some of my measuring tools, and I use this for drafting my little curve. Love this baby. To me, this is more natural for my hip line than some of the bigger ones. So I love this bad boy. I had a plastic one and my son broke it, so I got a metal one now. Just got that in New York this past summer. And then over here, if you're familiar with a serger, you know that there's serging thread. And so I have a few different colors here. Not every color. Would be awesome to build up my collection, but right now this is what I have. So depending on what the fabric is, I'll look for something that's the closest match, and then I will use that serging thread, and I'll show you my serger here in a second. I love this ruler for cutting, and I have a cutting mat as well. This, the joys of having a studio in your house. Unfortunately, where we live, if there's like a really heavy rain, the water is a risk of coming through. You might see a little bit of where the water's rushed in. So I try to keep stuff off of the floor. I have my sewing machine there, but let's say I know it's gonna rain or something, I will pick that up and move it out of the way. This right here is my yarn wall. Some of it's hidden, but this is my yarn wall. This is my glory of yarn. I got this several years ago, and what you will not see in here is actually I have knitting machines. So this is not, you would not use this yarn just to hand knit, right? You would use this for machine knitting. And I have 4 machines. I gave one away this year, but I have 4 machines. And I imagine as we get into colder temperatures, I'll probably get my machines out, or at least one, and I'll maybe make some knits, during the winter season. But right now it's just decoration. And sadly, some of the moths have gotten in and eaten some of the yarn. So I think some of this will probably just stay decoration because the moths got a hold of it. But it's beautiful. It's fun. So that's my yarn wall, and I will get around to using it one of these days. This is a project I am currently working on. This is actually going to be an underskirt. Most people will not see this, but I think it's absolutely beautiful. I think it's fun to have a cute lining. And I just got this at a fabric swap, and it spoke to me. And even though I'm not sure it looks great on my skin, I thought it would be fun to be on the inside. And so that's what that's going to be. And you can see here, remember that serger thread I was telling you about earlier? Well, this is the serger. I've got some yellow thread on here. And then if you'll look closely at this skirt, you can see that I have serged it. And basically that's just to prevent any unraveling from occurring and to help the outfit last longer, because I'm not really big into waste. I want something that lasts for a really long time. This is some elastic thread I have, and this is some piping. I always get confused. I'm like, is it cording or piping? Or welting? Gosh, I'll have to look it up. I'll put a little caption in there for sure. But this is just kind of gives some interesting texture. I can take some seam binding and cover it with whatever fabric I want, and it just gives the fabric or the outfit just an interesting textural look. This is my baby. Oh my gosh. I love this iron, right? So I have water attached here, and then it steams and it presses things so well. It's so well. I have a I have a clapper here, excuse me, and I have a tailor's ham, which help for pressing, but I don't even hardly have to use this clapper because I have this really awesome steam iron, and it gets things pressed so beautifully. I got this. When I got my machine, the owner, it was a lady who was retiring. She had an alteration shop, and she says that when she would iron, this is what she would use to hang clothing over the side. So that's what this is for. I don't know what it's called though, but that's the purpose of this thing right here. I participated in an exhibition earlier this year, and it was Let Me Introduce Myself, and it was asking us to submit work that kind of showed who we are. And so these are two pieces that I submitted, and one is representative indicative of my daughter, and one is indicative of myself, and there's an explanation that goes with it, but it's kind of long and I'm not going to get into that now. But this is the work, and back there are a few original pieces that I have been working on as well. I'll get this one out. I was going crazy in this studio space, so I haven't even really been sewing, but I'll show you a dress I'm working on right now. And I took fabric and I basically cut it into shreds and sewed it on. Same for the skirt. I'm almost done. I have just like a small sliver left. And then that's how it's gonna be. And then those layers you saw, that really pretty pink over there, that's gonna be underneath it. And it's just gonna be a cute little, I am obsessed with the halter dresses right now. So it's gonna be a cute little halter dress, and then I will wear this. The thing is, you know, I have it in my mind, like I will make this stuff to perform in, but I like wearing this stuff just like all the time, just whenever, not just performing. So my goal between now and the end of the year is to make 15 more pieces. So check back with me in 2027 and see how I did with my goal. But that's the goal, to just keep making more pieces and wearing them to perform, but just wearing my performance stuff every day, just elevating my wardrobe. All right, this, I don't know if you can see back here. You gotta look real close, but that's my fancy steamer. Look down, pink, but I very rarely use it anymore. But let's say that you have a ton of fabric and it's really wrinkled and you don't want to stick it in the dryer. That's really useful for that. I love that thing. But like I said, I just don't really use it that often. This is my wall of scraps. I have had different projects, and it's not a full piece of fabric, but it can still be used for something. I have several ideas. One thing is kind of creating like a mosaic, or just, I don't know. I have so many wonderful ideas with this. One of these is a dress I got my daughter in Spain, and she cut it, and I didn't want to get rid of it because it's so beautiful, because it's there too. So all of these are just different scraps of fabric that I envision being used in something else. And again, it's there, so it's going to be present in my mind. So I can think about what I have, as opposed to, do I really need to buy something else, or can I just use what I already have here? And finally, this stuff over here, we're not even going to talk about it today, but that's got to do with machine knitting accessories, but the books. Oh. This is my little cutter. I use this to cut like really thick chunks of fabric, okay? I told you about the rotary cutter before, but this one's, you know, for bigger jobs. This is my bookshelf. I'm obsessed with books, okay? Some people buy bags, some people buy, I don't know, makeup. I don't know what they buy, but I am not really big into makeup, but I love books. And I love, I just feel like it's good to have this knowledge, right? And this is one of the more recent books I purchased. It's called The Definitive Visual History of Fashion. Well, okay, entre comillas, right? Okay, but it still has so many references, and it's just a fun book to look through and get inspiration for clothing ideas. And this is another book that I bought, Tailoring Technique. So I haven't really done anything with it yet, but I love books. I love books so much. I have some stuff on figure drawing and knitting and quilting and just lots of stuff. But anyway, so that's my studio, that's my space, and I'm so happy to have it cleaned. It was a wreck in here. It was a wreck. And now I've got it where I want it to be, and now I'm just gonna keep working. So now you've seen my space. So yeah, thanks for stopping by.